Hello, hello. I'm quickly going to walk through the simple, exact workflow that I used to get 5 meetings in the last about 9 days using n8n and my own personal SMTP email that you can set up very easily. And and yeah, let's get right into it. So basically, this workflow I created after using a lot of frustrating ways to kind of automate the email outreach. I have a list of about 1,000 emails. Well, 1,000 emails are the people that I do want to reach currently, but other than that, I have a list of 18,000 emails, and I wanted to figure out a way to use those emails and make the best of it. And I had the n8n subscription. I was like, you know what? Why not just create something? So I tried a bunch of things, and this is the one that I've found that works really well as far as the replies go, stuff like that. Um, but this one, absolutely love. So what you want to do is one, you're going to need the list of emails, right? That's a prerequisite. And then you're also going to need an n8n subscription. If you don't have one, go get one. And after that, you're going to need a email, and you're pretty much good to go. So I'm going to show you, well, you are going to want to create your own list of emails. I can't really show you that because like you can use tools like Apollo, Seamless, Zoom, People, something, a bunch of tools out there. It depends on what your business is. If you are in, if you're servicing home services business, the best one is for you to go to Google Maps scrapers. So more specifically, the D7 lead finder. Um, I'll put a link in there in the description, but like that's worked really well for me, and that seems to only work for local businesses and brick and mortar, like the things that you find on the businesses that you find on Google Maps. I would go check that out. If you are more like serving the LinkedIn people, so like people that are more likely to be on LinkedIn, so for example, software startups and stuff like that, then your best bet is probably Apollo. So go get the Apollo subscription or even a trial just to kind of test if this workflow works. The next thing you're going to want to do is either get a Namecheap email. So like you can go to Namecheap and then get a business email with a domain if you have one. If not, you can also just use Gmail account, like your personal Gmail account. That's no big deal. And you can connect your Gmail, I believe. Yeah, you can connect your Gmail here, and that way you can send messages, and then you can track when a message reply comes and things like that. So it's really cheap. You don't have to go fancy on it. You can just connect your personal Gmail account and just fire these emails away, but you will need a list of emails, right? So let's get right into it. Um, I have used I've tried using agents, although it looks fancy, but I will tell you that it's not that great. The agents, like, by agents, I mean like AI writing your emails, unless you give them a really good prompt, it can work. But like, I've tried it. It's very like generic and like it makes too many mistakes and says the things that I wouldn't say otherwise. Because, well, I know I wouldn't say it because I have a little bit of experience. But if you don't have any experience, then you wouldn't know the difference anyway. Uh, but I would still suggest that you write your own email, even if it's terrible, because imperfect these days is what's converting a little bit more. Um, the people that you're sending emails to, they're getting shit ton of messages and emails, and they all look the same because they're all generated by ChatGPT. Um, so what you want to do is write an email, just write an email and send it off with some different, like just a little bit of personalization. All right. So for personalization, what you can do is I wouldn't say personalize your email um, in the like using ChatGPT. I would say personalize the email. So like if you have, let's say, a email list of 100 people, and 30 out of those people are one category, let's say breakup advice people, the next 30 are nutritionist advice, and then the other 30 are bodybuilders, so you would separate these three categories, and then you would write an email for each one of those, so that your email is still like for nutritionists, you know um, and it's not just a generic chat GPT. Like, I hate those emails, so please don't send it. Yeah, because your emails won't convert as well unless you've got a really good prompt. But I say that because I have experience with multiple different scripts, and I want to give you the best. And if you stick around long enough, I will give you the whole script that works for me. Um, so the reason why I wanted to set up this email automation was because my clients are mostly on Instagram, and those are Instagram coaches is the ones that I work with. And even though I do send about 150 messages a day, I believe that they get a lot of messages on Instagram. So as soon as you send them an email, you are different, because it's easy to send a DM on Instagram, but it takes more effort to actually send them an email. So they're more responsive on email, and that's how I got a bunch of clients. Without further ado, let me walk you through the whole workflow. So the first, like, as you can see, it's stupid simple. Like, it's the simplest workflow I've ever built, and it's the workflow that works the best. Like, trust me, I've built hundreds of workflows here in my n8n account, but like none of them works well. ROI is really good on this one. Okay, so schedule trigger. The first one is like, we want to tell it how often that we want it to send an email or be triggered or do whatever the next node is. So I had you can set a multiple configurations here. You can send it an email every so many seconds, so many minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, but I wanted to do it custom. I wanted to make sure that it sends an email every 11 minutes from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. And um, I don't know what this means. I think it also means like what days of the week do we want it to send it, but I think it sends every day. I'm not super sure about. I'm not like super knowledgeable about cron impressions, so that's why I just chat GPT give me a cron impression or expression to send an email every 11 minutes from this time to this time on these days of the week, and it will give you that, and you will just copy and paste it here. I'm just like you. I don't code. I don't have all the knowledge in the world, but I've figured some things out, so I want to share it with you. So this is a workflow. It gets triggered every 11 minutes from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. In the evening. And now the first thing it does is it gets a row. I have this email list. I don't pay for any CRM. I have this email list in a Google Sheet, which I've connected to this. And it's being the way it copies the email or the row is by this status. So I have sent and unsent status in my email list. So if the status is sent, it will not pick up that email, because it it means that the email is already sent, right? And if it will only pick up the first row that has the status equals unsent, or exactly like this. Okay, and it will pick up a row. As you can see, it's got a row. It's got the email, dating coach. This is his email. This is the follower count, and the email status is unsent. Okay. Now, because in my email list, this is totally optional. Okay. In my email list, I only have um, full name column. So, but I don't want to use the full name, saying in my email that, hey, um, Elliot Scott. I want to say, hey, Elliot. You see what I mean? So that's why I'm using this node to just fetch the first name. So sometimes the suggested name, like this is the first name or the full name that it's copying from my email list, and I'm giving it the email as well, because sometimes they have this weird thing, just like this guy, dating and relationship coach in the name itself. So if it was just dating and relationship coach, I want to give it the email so that AI can just analyze the email as well, so it can give me the first name of the person rather than being confused. I don't know what the first name is. Like, is dating the first name? You know what I mean? So this whole node is to detect the first name of the coach. And as you can see, this is the prompt, and that's the only thing that it needs to output. To prove my point, here is, let's just say, the dating. The reason why, I give the email. Let's see if it actually works. Because I know if we just did the whole input, it would work. But if we just execute it like this, it would still, yeah, you see, we put suggested name was dating and Elliot, and then we gave him the person's email. So then it analyzed the name and then the email to give us the first name. That's very simple. You shouldn't have to worry about it. But yeah, we got that. Now, um, we have this SMTP node set up. How are you going to set it up? Is basically just go to your credentials. I have the private email. So basically you want to go private mail.private email is the host, port is 465. It automatically like configures that. So all you have to do is just put your username, your password, and this thing, if it's a private email. But if it's not, then you could just, Gmail is super easy to connect as well. Um, and then I have so like I put the email here, just drag and drop it, uh, email of that person. And then this is the subject I'm using. You're leaving money on the table. Now, what it does is it's worked pretty well for me. It's got me, I think, about 3 clients in the past. And so I'm gonna keep using it until it stops getting me replies and stuff. Maybe there is a better subject line. Maybe there isn't. I don't know. But this is working for me, so I'm gonna keep using it. And then we're gonna take that first name that we got from here and then put it in this email. Um, then the text. What is the email body? Very long as it might seem, but we got that text dragged and dropped from the last email, the last LLM chain. And then I just copy and paste it, send the same script to every single person because I know, like, I have sent over 10,000 messages on Instagram, multiple different accounts. And this is the script that has worked. Now you can copy it, you can take it, or you can just click on the link and just go to our community and just have it all anyway. But this works for me, so I'm going to keep using it. And it's done. Now it's sent that email. Let's just click on sent. There you go. So the email is sent. And now what it's going to do is it's going to update the sheet so that it says sent, as you can see. It changes the status to sent so that the next 11 minutes, the same row doesn't get picked up. Make sense? So now that this updates the status to sent, we're just going to we have this another trigger here. Now this update triggers this workflow, which means as soon as the status is updated to sent, we will trigger this workflow. And then once that workflow is triggered, it fetches that same Google row from the Google Sheet. And so this is basically our follow-up email, okay? I have 1 day wait. And then within that 1 day, if the person replies, then we go to this node. If the person replies, we have another trigger workflow. So if we get a reply, this node basically helps us kind of clean up the data a little bit and then send them an email, send me actually an email so that I know that the person has replied. Now I can go take a look at, what the message is and what they said and stuff like that. And then it will update the Google Sheet. Okay, so we sent the first email and then we triggered the follow-up workflow. But just when, let's say within that one day, if that person replies, it will automatically update that sheet that, hey, this person has already replied, so no need to follow up on that person. Okay, now how does our workflow know that it's not going to follow up is by this if node. So if the reply cell is empty, which means the person hasn't replied, right? Because it wouldn't be empty if they did reply, and if they did reply, then it would just say yes. Okay, so if that is empty, then keep on going with the workflow. If it's not empty, then it will be false. So that means it will just end here. But if it's, let's say, empty and they have not replied to our workflow, we have this another LLM chain, um, which again detects the name of the person, and then we have the second email that's being sent to that person saying, "Not sure if you saw my last email." I like to put this RE so that they know that I'm replying to the previous email, and then kind of give them another overview so they don't have to go digging. And this exact follow up booked me one meeting that I have today, and it's crazy. Um, yeah, I have actually. Let me check if I have. Yeah, at 12 in 42 minutes, I have this meeting. Okay, um, and then it updates that, hey, the follow up was also sent. So now this is the workflow um, that has helped me book a lot of meetings, and I don't have any additional cost. Now I have that email list of 18,000 people, and now what I can just do is split that up in multiple different categories, even um, multiple by different positions, their roles, and try to sell them different things, and just copy this workflow, change the email that I want to send it from. I have a lot of multiple emails and domains, so and then just copy the whole thing and then send it to them. Okay. Uh, I hope this works. I hope you try it, and I hope it works, especially if you're using Instantly or other email sending services. Um, and even more, especially if you are using Instagram as your outreach or if your prospects are on Instagram. This works wonders. And Yeah, I hope it makes you a lot of money. I hope you can really speed it up and send hundreds of emails a day and across multiple different emails. But yeah, this has worked for me, and yeah, all the best. But if you want the whole like copy and paste version of it, um, the links in below in description for our school community, where it's completely free and you can find all the information there. Ciao. See you later.